And here we are, man. We are back. Chris sees the internet. Welcome to the inaugural, again, episode. You can figure that out later, but happy to be here, man. This is my first time going live here on this channel. My name is Chris. You can call me KILLcRey. I am one part of the Invisible Panchos. Usually that guy rapping and stuff. And I'm an artist. I am a futurist, which means that I'm always looking forward, which is not always like the best thing you could be doing, but it is who I am. I'm hoping that by doing these lives, what at least me and Gene are trying to do, because I don't know if you know this, but one of my partners in the Invisible Panchos, Gene Flo, does a show here every other Thursday at 7 o'clock. Is it 7 o'clock, Eddie?
Yes.
Yeah, my producer Eddie is in the house. At 7 o'clock, he does a producer show where he puts together beats and music that we occasionally use for albums and records and songs that you guys get to hear if you listen to our music. And he does it live. He puts together those beats live. You know, you get the concept. But he also has great conversations. And he's going to be interviewing people soon. So one thing we are definitely not are, for lack of better description, I mean, no offense by this, but we're not YouTubers. So YouTube was not ever something that I considered getting into when I started my artistic journey. I didn't consider that would be a thing, that I'd be able to speak to my audience and my friends and supporters directly live all across the world at one time, and then maybe even do that consistently. It wasn't something that I considered. So in that, with those thoughts, we move forward into YouTube nonetheless. And so we want to be as genuine as possible as we can be on here, as one can be streaming themselves to the world, which doesn't seem natural, but you know, times change, and maybe that's someday people will not see anything even slightly remotely odd about that. I still kind of do. But that being said, I don't want to put anything out there that isn't authentically me or who I am or what we are in the Invisible Panchos. So that's what this show is. I'm just going to be hanging out with you guys every so often, reacting to a bunch of things, because I think that's one part in the Invisible Pancho story that we don't put out there as much as we'd like to, because we're making music and art and doing shows and performing. Those are the things that we got in this to do. But we also know the importance of having that conversation with you guys, especially, you know, the people who support us and the people who, you know, ingest the music and stuff that we put out. I think it's cool to have conversations with you guys. I have done that in real life. I've met people at our shows. I've met people who support us and go really hard for us. I just had the chance to do that this weekend at shout out to Tumex. If you guys don't know, the legendary Tumex from the LA underground hip-hop scene. He's a really good friend of ours. He had a birthday party, invited us to come out, and we got to DJ the whole night. Because I'm also part of a DJ collective, which is myself, Gene Flo, and Parker Edison, called Monday Adams. And we can rock your party if you need us to. But we went there and DJ'd, and then we performed as the Invisible Panchos to close the night out. It was super, super dope. But I got to meet a lot of people who support us, and they're all amazing people, man. You know? And so being able to have those types of conversations with more of you guys is something that I look forward to. I'm hoping that in doing this show, it can lead to that. You know, I'm going to be speaking to some of my good friends and creative minds and people that I'm just interested in speaking to I'm going to do that live here on Chris Sees the Internet as well on future shows. Today is more like the soft opening. I didn't even announce it because, again, not a YouTuber, man. I don't. I like to make things and then put them out, and so the live thing does appeal to me. I like to be able to just jump on here and start the conversation and with your guys' help, extend that conversation from time to time. I like to be able to do that. And in my art, that's what I like to do. If you follow anything we do musically, you see that we are very spontaneous when we put music out. I think the people who support us like that and are maybe likewise like that, you know, in their own lives. But it's, you know, it's like, it's spontaneous, but it is very well thought out, I think. You know, it's just that when we put it out, finally, we want to do that on a feeling as opposed to like a release date or stuff like that. And I know on YouTube, it's about like consistency and that's how you grow. And I do plan to go live a lot. As of right now, I can't tell you like, oh, it's going to be every day on this time. Right now, like I said, this is like a soft opening. I wanted to test everything out. Wanted to put out the initial intention of the show and show you a little bit how it's going to go. We're going to do that today. Because one thing that I am is infinitely curious. All my friends know that about me. Every time someone's talking to me, it's almost as if I'm interviewing them. Because I'm just that type of person, I guess, you know. Maybe I have poor people skills. But the reality is that sometimes I'm just curious about people. And I really enjoy people. I love what goes into people's thought process. I love what goes into what people make and what they consider and who they see themselves as, who they see me as. You know, I'm curious about those things. And everyone around me knows this because I'm always talking to them about all those kind of things. So I'm just going to do that here in front of you guys so you can see that. It's a real thing for sure. I'm into a lot of different things, right? Obviously, I have done nothing in my life other than live as a part of the hip hop culture. Since I think I was 9 years old, and I've been doing that my whole life. So I don't know anything outside of that, or I don't see myself as something rooted outside of that. I'm part of the hip hop culture, and I am Chicano. I'm Mexican American. I'm rooted to that part of my culture. I have to be. I grew up in Barrio Logan in San Diego, and most of my life I lived there. I'm a product of a single mom. I'm an only child. I mean, that alone. Issues. Eddie's is that issues?
Issues.
Yeah, that's issues, man. I have there's a lot of things I'm curious about because a lot of those things that I'm curious about, I'm trying to like deal with the things in my own life. And I have found by speaking to a lot of you guys at shows and on tour and, you know, online, that it just so happens that a lot of the things that draw you guys to our music and what we do is that we do speak openly about those kind of things like mental health and just the challenges of being a human being, right? No matter your color, your race, what you believe in, who you love, whatever. To me, it's just a human experience, and we talk about that a lot. We're not afraid to talk about that. And I think the people who are attracted to that can relate to the things that we also think and talk about amongst ourselves. And so we thought, why not do that here? Live on YouTube for the whole world to see and judge. That sounds fun. And I'm doing it live too because, look, one of the things that I do as part of my art is I develop and write and produce shows for a station in San Diego, California called KPBS. I do podcast and we're developing video content for them. And so my video editing and audio editing cup is full. And that's mostly why I hadn't brought Chrissy's the Internet back. There was other iterations of the show, and we were planning on just taking a little break. But then I kind of rethought it all and repackaged things. But I hadn't come back, mostly because I just didn't want to edit videos and then put them out. And then I realized I could just stay going live and let it just be what it is. Because that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be what it is. Like I said, I've been doing hip hop my entire life. I think you're going to find it pretty interesting. In the show's ability, I like to already call it like it's its own thing. In the show's ability to reach out to some really creative minds and get them here to talk about very personal challenges and the things that they have to deal with in being creative people. I think this show is going to be really good at doing that. So if you're into that, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff, follow us. But turn on your alerts. This is definitely one of those channels you want to turn on your alerts. It's part of the story. It's part of the whole thing. Myself and Gene Flow, we want to be able to give you the art as we're making it. We want to be able to make it in the studio, mix it, master it, put it out, put a post up and say, hey, here it is, and you guys get it, and then jump on live and talk to you about it. We want to be able to do that. And I feel like in this YouTube world that we're in right now, a lot of that got lost. Unless you're just doing live streaming all day and you're trying to just do like crazy shit to get attention. But the dialogue isn't really there, right? It's just like you're either digitally throwing tomatoes at it or you're giving it thumbs up or flipping it off. But there's no conversation actually happening. And I think it's because the honesty of it all has been kind of lost sometimes in YouTube. You know, because I think at a time people wanted things to be way more packaged and way more shiny, but I feel like that's just not what we've ever done. And I also feel luckily that I think things are not necessarily like that anymore. Things are changing. People kind of do things. Hey, I could see Eddie crawling. I could see, where are you going, man?
I gotta go.
All right, man. See you later. Yeah, I think it's time for that to change. At least here on the Invisible Panchos, if you're into like the spontaneity and you're into like that just happened, right? If you're into the spontaneity and you're into just having a real dialogue with us as the artists and you maybe as creative people or you people who just taking in the art and just like art, let's talk about it. And we're going to be doing that on this show. But we're also going to be watching the internet. In the past iterations, I felt like we didn't watch the internet enough, and that is something I just genuinely do in real life. I'm a junkie. I'm a junkie, guys. I admit it. Clip it. I'm a junkie, and I can't stop taking in pop culture, science, news, silly shit. Excuse the language. But I just I'm into a lot of different things. I like hip hop, of course, right? I see hip hop in a very layered way. I can have hours long conversations on hip hop and the nuances about hip hop. I'm working on a project right now that's very complex look at hip hop. And I'm into that. I will nerd out on it. But I'll also nerd out on traditionally nerdy shit. Damn, excuse me. I'll cut that out, YouTube. Are you supposed to cut those things out? Can you cut? Why is cussing bad? This is not for kids. Yeah, I will be curious about many, many things. Sorry, I'm trying to think if I should be cussing or not. Does anybody know? Like, if you're in the chat room, do you know? I don't know. Do they demonetize you if you cuss too? No, right? Because everybody should be able to. Like, how would hip hop make any money on YouTube? But I'm into hip hop, right? Tremendously. layers of that. I'm also a producer. I like making music. I like searching for new music. I like, ingesting it as a fan as well. I'm into lots of different types of music. I think our sound in the Panchos is very eclectic, and that comes from mine and Gene's taste in being like they're very eclectic. It just is what it is. And I want to share that with you guys because sometimes I find some gems, man. I'm into that, by the way. As a kid, I used to go to the comic book store and try to find like the dopest comics. Same thing with baseball cards or any kind of collectible. I feel like I still do that. I will always do that in my life. I like that. I like those kind of things, like being able to dive into a universe of things. And I feel like with the Invisible Panchos, we're aiming to do that as well. Like we put out physical art, audio, we physically perform, right? We digitally perform. There's a lot of things we do. We like conversation, right? In the form of entertainment and art as well. So there's a lot of things we like to talk about, but let's just jump into it, man. Yeah. I want to look at the internet, if you don't mind. By the way, that music you've been hearing in the background, that's none other than the King Selector, Gene Flo, mastermind producer behind the Invisible Panchos. Got a bunch of projects coming up. I mean, he's been sending me tons of music, so the Panchos are about to be lit with a bunch of music, and we got a bunch of stuff on deck. But the music you hear in the background is from his album, The Grateful Flow. Go check that out. theinvisiblepanchos.com. All the links will always be pretty much the same, always down below. Do what you got to do. Most of our stuff you can get it for free. Ask me how that works. We'll talk about it if you stick around. We will definitely talk about it. I plan to hold no secrets here. Also, check out the Parker Edison Project. It's a podcast that I produce and edit. In fact, we're live. That was the whole point of doing this, right? Is being able to react in real time. So let me check this out.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without episodes to sit through. Copycat podcast came and crept through. Time's up. Sorry.
Hey P, let's start the show.
You are now tuned to the Parker Edison Project.
Good morning, and welcome to Season 2 of the Parker Edison Project. This time around, we're showing you culture as a lifestyle. This is how the tenets come into play in your day-to-day life. And of course, for the opening episode, we had to do something big. For those that don't know, today, March 9th, marks the 25th year since the passing of legendary Brooklyn rapper Notorious B.I.G.
Ooh.
In celebration of his life and legacy, we're dedicating this episode to his LP opus, Ready to Die, which was released.
You get the idea. But go check that out, please. The Parker Edison Project on Spotify or anywhere you find podcasts. We're very proud of it. We've done some really cool shows on there. And it's not just like a traditional podcast by any means. In fact, you know what? Let me just go ahead and keep it that you lit.
What's your name and what city are you from?
Evidence, Venice Beach, California.
Evidence.
My name is Bodie James, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Bodie James.
Excel, straight out Jersey, represent California.
The God.
And I'm from Buffalo, New York.
The Queen.
I'm from Boston.
Where were you the first time you heard Biggie's Ready to Die album?
I heard a promo copy before it came out on Crescent Heights in Pico.
In my grandma's living room on 6 Mile and Ardmore, 6 Mile Bronx, West Side Detroit.
Oakland, California.
I think I was still in my mom's womb.
Man, I was probably growing up, driving around with my older brother.
What's the one track that you think is underrated on that record that never gets enough play?
The what?
Ooh, and definitely Juicy.
Man, that's hard because people like so much of it.
Yeah, man. But check it out, the Park Edison Project. I'm really proud of it. I think it's really dope. And it's just a really entertaining. I mean, if you love hip-hop, if you love culture, right, it really teaches you about things that you might not be up on. We dig deep. It's for the culture nerd for sure. Just like this show is. So if you vibe with that, shout out to that. You know what I mean? But yeah, check them out. Check out the Parker Edison Project, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found. All right, let's go ahead. So one of the things I'm into sports. I don't know if you guys are into sports, but particular sports. Me, I'm into the combat sports. I love wrestling. I love not that's the entertainment. I mean, actual like wrestling. You know, Olympic wrestling. But I love MMA. I'm a huge MMA fan, huge UFC fan, huge boxing fan. And I also do really like wrestling. Like, by the way, WWE, AEW, OVW, all of it. I'm going to try to talk to, by the way, people connected to any and all of those things. And you'll see. I already got plans. We're going to do it. We're going to do it for sure. Without a doubt, we're going to do it. But I don't know if you guys know about the stuff that's going on with Ryan Garcia, man. Ryan Garcia is how old is he? I think he's only like 21 years old or something like that. Let me see here. Ryan Garcia is... Wikipedia says he's in 98. And I write raps for a living, so don't ask me for that answer. Yeah, he's a young kid, early 20s, right? And he's apparently, people are insinuating that he might be having somewhat of a psychological breakdown. And I don't know how much truth there is to that. I've watched some of the content that he's put out. I've watched some of the things that he's said. And I mean, so far from what it looks like to me, to be fair to the young man, right? He's a good-looking young dude who has a bunch of money and in probably one of the most high-pressure jobs you can have, right? Seemingly. I know that obviously people can die in the ring. It's not the intention of that. It can happen. But even just combat one-on-one with a man-to-man, woman-to-woman, whatever. Yeah, high pressure, right? In front of everybody that you love. And by the time the fight happens, you've told everybody that you're going to win and how sometimes. I can just imagine the pressure. And then I hear that he also has had some issues with mental health and that he's had possible breakdowns. That's what it seems to be insinuated. I know he's taken time off for mental health. Promoted by the great, or once great, Oscar De La Hoya, right? We'll get into that because not sure if we can still say great. He's not necessarily acting that great. But Ryan Garcia is out there talking crazy, man. He's, or maybe he's not. But anyways, he's the stuff that he's catching heat for the most is some stuff that he's said about conspiracy theories that most of us know to be conspiracy theories, especially people say like over the age of 30. Everything that I've heard him spout so far has been things that most people are kind of like, again, over the age of 30 have already heard, are like, they're not even new conspiracies. And maybe some of them that we've already found are not conspiracies at all, right? They actually were just things that were being held from us and then eventually came out. But he's been talking about those kind of things. And I guess all in all, for a young 20-something-year-old to discover that there's more to consider about the world through the world of, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I just realized, by the way, every time I'm saying that, I'm probably getting lower and lower down the algorithm. Shout out to YouTube. But yeah, every time, if that's where his entry point is, and now his mind is opening because he is definitely talking about bigger things, right? Things that as you grow older, you consider way more. But also the thing that happens as you grow older is you start to narrow down those, you trim away the fat, per se. You trim away the fat of the conspiracy, right? And again, to be fair to the young man, I feel like he's saying some things, but if I'm just being real, if he was my homie, I'd be like, dude, you're not saying anything that like, that's super crazy, right? Like, if what you are saying is true, and for sure, a lot of the things you are saying have been debunked in some way, right? Like, I think I've heard him address like conspiracies in this way, right? Like he'll say like, what was one of the things he said? In fact, you know what? Let's just watch. Like, this is his latest video. By the way, I haven't seen this one yet, so shout out to Juwop, Juwopp, for posting this. Subscribe to that young man. But let's check it out.
People may assume that I am mentally ill. What did they say? I'm going through a manic episode, or
and this is live from TikTok.
Whatever they came about to try to make what I was saying, which was the truth, seem like it was a lie. They're trying to create confusion within the people to make it seem that anything I said was a lie. Everything I said was the truth. And with that being said, I am going to now enter this live with prayer. Father in heaven, I just want you to guide.
That was the other thing I've noticed about Ryan. Not to interrupt his prayer, but it's his prayer. But hey man, can y'all stop like adding God and Jesus to every time you make a decision to act on something you think you should act on? And just stop saying it's always like it's directly from God, as if that gives you permission. It is something else that you learn as you get older. Like, I remember being in my early 20s and going, what I'm saying must be the thing, because I didn't really know all the other options. And when you consider them, you start to realize like everything in life, things are way more complicated and probably not as black and white as somebody in any position, regardless of you having money or not, when it comes to people who actually would be moving the bigger pieces of life, government, right? The highest levels, what they actually have access to and what you have even as just a celebrity, it's not close. And the belief that it is part of the game to me. The belief that you would somehow be bestowed with all the knowledge and have it figured out. It's hard to separate that from the ego, that thought from the ego. And that as someone who's been on both sides of that and understands like dealing with your ego and like, but eventually I'm telling you, if I was this young man's older brother, or, someone who cared about him, who maybe have a little bit more life experience, you'd go, hey man, there's a way better way for you to help. If you believe in the things that you believe in, there's a way better way for you to help than being someone who's just provoking the thing for the attention that it's getting, because you should be seeing, look at the TikTok, by the way. He's about to say a prayer, and I know he takes that personal, like that's very personal to him, right? His religion, and salute to him for that. But there's like a chili pepper on his head, because you're doing it on TikTok, man. And I get, you're like, well, that's the way everybody's talking, and like, but you're going to also get what you choose, right? You're choosing the platform, you're choosing the way you're doing it, you're choosing how to say it, you're choosing when to say it. What are those things? I get it. And that's what you earned. You earned your sovereignty to be able to do that whenever you want to do that. But if you want people to take it serious, again, wisdom would tell you, hey, there's a way to do this with grace. But let's keep watching.
Guide me, Lord. Guide me with your...
And I don't want to disrespect, so I'm going to go past the
anything.
prayer.
This does nothing for my fight. This is just me trying to give the facts and the truth of what I've seen throughout the years. And during this point and this time, there's a lot of eyes on me. And I'm bringing awareness for the kids, the little kids that are hurting. I know you guys seen that video. I'm not even going to say the name, but you know what I'm talking about.
So he's referring to some videos about child molestation and abduction. And again, nothing you can argue with him about, right? Who should not want that situation to get better in the world, right? It almost seems as if we don't even care about our young people the way they're treated by the world in general, you know, all the horrible things and atrocities. But how he's talking about it and how he got to understand that, it's weird to me that he does not see, or someone close to him isn't going like, hey man, you know, a lot of the things you're saying, like a lot of them have been debunked. It doesn't erase the fact that the atrocities are happening, but the thing that you're saying that's causing them or how they got there, a lot of those things they're easily debunked, and they're simple too. It's not even like a complex thought of like, oh, who the bad guy is. If it is that easy to get to that, do you really think they're that good of a bad guy? Like for you, you figured it out. Boxing Ryan Garcia figured it out. So they're just like not a good bad guy. And I know he'll probably go, but I'm speaking with God through me, and okay. But yeah, let's figure out.
Everybody wants to prove? Okay. Well, let's go into, this is surface level proof. This is common knowledge if you're really paying attention. Okay. The first fact, with human trafficking, including sex trafficking, the global industry of human trafficking, including child sex trafficking, is estimated to be worth $150 billion annually.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
$150 billion annually.
Yeah, and it's like just a passionate kid, you know, that's what I think. He's a passionate kid. Do I think that he should necessarily be focused on this during his fight? Like he's in camp right now for the biggest fight of his life against Devin Haney. I'm not sure if you guys know who Devin Haney is, but he is not playing. One of the greatest fighters on the planet right now, for sure. No doubt about it. And it's hard to think that the people around Ryan are telling him to be professional, are telling him to, lock in for this fight when he is going live every other day. It seems like he's going live every other day. He's putting things on Instagram. And it's all about this issue. Now, here's the thing. I think what he's doing, and this is why I don't feel like I'm attacking him at all. I think what he is doing in practice is admirable. It's a very admirable thing to stand up for the thing you believe in and go, hey, here's what it is. But again, I'm a futurist. I'm a person who looks forward. I don't want to see the same mistakes getting made over and over again. There's probably nothing that bothers me more than that. And seeing Ryan make some of these mistakes that are very obvious. Again, if you're 30 and over, a lot of us are probably watching that and going, oh, I've seen this play out. And you know how it's going to play out. Because this isn't the way to actually address the problems that Ryan's talking about. The traffic stuff and all that kind of stuff, right? Let's be honest, we're not getting monetized for this episode. But I do just think that there's a better way to go about that. And hopefully Ryan figures that out. But let's look back on what Ryan was doing, because I think it kind of played out more on Facebook. And yeah, I mean, you got to just kind of hear it for yourself. And it to me, it's one of those things where you definitely get to just watch it. And I think most people, again, are split. Like, again, some people feel it's admirable, and that alone is enough. By the way, I do not feel that way because he's doing an admirable thing. That is enough for everything that he is saying for us to then deem that it must be true. I think that's irresponsible to think that way. I think you're not caring about Ryan because Ryan is a young man who's going to change hopefully many, many times throughout his life, right? He's going to have new revelations and he's going to level up again and again and again. And hopefully a lot of the things having to do with ego and stuff level themselves out. Right now they're fuel for him. That's what he should be doing. He's a young man. But for the rest of the world to then look at that and go like, you know what? What he's doing is admirable. Everything he's saying must be true when you know damn right. A lot of the stuff is misinformed at the least. At the least, it's misinformed, right? We've heard concern apparently from those closer to him, which is still yet to be addressed, right? Like it hasn't. The people who've been concerned, his ex-wife, I believe, his brother. He had his brother on a live stream recently, and his brother seemed like he was kind of like playing around with him, or at least like going with him a little bit. But his brother was telling him to like calm down, like
Brian,
more or less.
To all the people that are asking why you don't show the clips, can you
Let's listen to this Facebook.
I can't show the clips. They're already out there. I mean, there's so many clips, it's unbelievable. I know everybody wants me to put out my evidence, but I can't put out my evidence or else they're going to come after my family. So I choose not to. Or you can speak, Gummy. Gummy. Whatever your name, Gumi. Right,
So I believe he's on Facebook.
Bro.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello?
Ryan, you talking to me?
Tell everybody, yo, this is the truth. Like, have I been to the Vatican before?
Here we go.
Did they let me into the back room? Okay. I don't lie. I don't need to lie. What would be the point of me lying?
Okay, so let's just examine what he said there, right? Have I been to the Vatican? Do I believe Ryan Garcia has been to the Vatican? Yeah, my mom's been to the Vatican. Do I believe that Ryan Garcia, as a celebrity, was allowed in a room behind where us normies might be? Well, yeah. Could he then say, have I been to the Vatican and been in the back room? Yes. And then is he lying? No. But kinda? You know what I mean?
There's absolutely no point of me lying.
There's a lot of points in him lying, by the
Let
way.
somebody else speak. Who should I speak to? Who's people that are tapped in on this?
Patriot Storm, please, Ryan. He's very good.
Where is he at? Can we get him on here?
Patriot Storm.
He's in here.
How do I request him?
He's in here.
Patriot Storm. Patriot
You
Storm.
were in his space last night.
Where is he at? I can't see him.
It's Trump's face.
Uh-oh. Damn, I probably just got
face.
banned for that.
Oh no. What happened? Oh, there.
Because
here we go.
Because I'm God's anointed. So they know better. But
he's God's anointed, yeah.
But I'll let you know once I get that word, and once somebody hits me up, I'll get him. Trust me. Here, let's let in Mike. My job. Because he said something right.
All right, this is the last question. We got to go right.
Hold on, I told him 7 though.
Okay, this is almost 7.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't know if you guys have been watching any of the videos, but Ryan has been seen with like people who are not his normal team, and all of a sudden it just seems like he's surrounded by a whole bunch of new people. Check this out.
I understand what they are and I understand what they look like. But I'm coming back to announce I'm not going to speak on any other topic other than boxing, sports, and my fight.
And this was 6 days ago.
About,
So since then, let's see.
I'm training for this fight. I want everybody to know this fight's still on. 420. Here to announce 5 weeks of super focus. I have PBD helping me in this camp and many other warriors. So I thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys on 420.
Okay, so let's see if he has since stuck to that. Because it's got to be tough, right? Especially if he's very passionate about what he's talking about. He's probably wanting to put that out. But you got to respect. Let's see if he's locked in. Let's see what he's saying here.
Rest in peace, the creator of Dragon Ball Z.
All right, he's just having
Today
fun.
It was on my mind as I woke up and I got ready to run. I noticed nobody was here. I was the first one on my team up, and I was already off running and answering phone calls.
Was he reading
This
that?
is not to bash my team. This is to acknowledge that in order to be a champion, you need to do things yourself. You need to be ahead of your team.
I like it. He sounds better, man. I hope he doesn't. But yeah, man, I'm definitely watching that story closely.
Hey guys, emergency live right now.
Oh shit.
I'm waiting for my mouthpiece to come so I can spar, but I needed to hop on this quick because I caught a little bit of the impulsive. I don't even like to say their podcast name. It's probably one of the worst podcasts ever. All they do is spread false things, filth, and infecting.
I'm assuming he's talking about Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Or Logan Paul has a podcast called Impulsive. And if you guys didn't know this, Ryan Garcia, after one of his rants or during one of his rants, and no disrespect by calling that's just what they're calling it online, but his lives where he was very passionate talking about his beliefs, he also called out Jake Paul and said that it's his fault that Jake Paul started boxing, that he put him on to boxing, and he's the whole reason Jake Paul exists. And obviously, I'm sure the Paul family did not take kindly to that, and I'm assuming he's talking about this. I haven't seen the Impulsive thing. Maybe we'll check it out.
Children's brains. Another thing, they're making claims that are so lie. They're trying to spin the narrative like I'm crazy, I'm going through something. First of all, I got to clear some things up. I never said I'm a God. I said I'm with God.
I think he did say he was a god, though. Ooh, hope he checked that. Hope they scrubbed that.
Second, it's so frustrating because if they looked into anything that I'm saying, they will see that there's actually little kids that are hurting. And the fact that they're trying to spin that narrative proves that they're working for Satan, whether they know it or not.
Okay.
So fuck all 3 of them. Fuck.
Oh, don't want that. Calm down, Ryan.
You, Mike. And your real name is KSI, KS Lies. Fuck you.
Oh, wow. Wow. See, that's why you got to be here on live for this show.
Fucks.
Oh, damn. Couldn't even time it right. Hey, man. Ryan, hold it together, bro. I do worry about a fighter who gets that angry. He gets very angry very quickly in all his fights. The passion is dope because sometimes he's able to harness it, but so far, he lost his last fight. He got knocked out. So he hasn't been able to harness it to that level yet. And that's a dangerous thing. I hope someone around him is helping him control that anger, All right, man, let's see what else we got. Okay, and for us hip-hop heads, man. So one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is the future of hip-hop and the future of music in general. For you guys who don't know, hip-hop is not in the greatest place in that it's part of music as a whole. And music as a whole, the whole infrastructure of it is falling apart right now. And if say you're just a music fan or you're someone who just follows music, as someone who takes it in casually, right? In your car, maybe you'll catch a concert from time to time with maybe your favorite artist. You might not know or be aware that those of us in the music industry, and this is all across the board, except for maybe that 1%. Look into that, by the way, too. The actual 1%. We're talking Taylor Swift, Drake, Beyonce. The top of the the top that basically makes all the money that the streaming services have to offer, you might not know that other than them, that nobody else really benefits from the current structure, right? Like a lot of artists do not. Some artists have found ways to hack the structure, and then they've built a digital hustle, right? That's what I'm sure if you follow anything in music, and now it's crossed over into pop culture because I've seen a ton of news stories on just normal news about bots running up numbers on Spotify. If you don't know what a bot is, it's basically, look at it this way. Here's the simplest way. It's a program that automatically plays your music a ton of times without you having to do it. Like, you can program it to do that. I'm talking to the people who really, really don't understand what it is. Like, why should I care about a bot? And so it's false, right? Like, there's ways for you to manipulate numbers. Numbers equal money at a certain point, right? And on Spotify and on iTunes, all this data is out there. I don't have to regurgitate this data for you, but I mean, you're not even making a penny a play, guys. So if you are someone who even cares about like art at all, and you're like, yo, I think artists should at least be treated right or fairly. If you're just into people being treated fairly, it is important that you know that art is not in that space. Artists are not treated fairly in general, and especially not in music, and especially not in hip hop. And so I think a lot about what's next as these paradigms start to fall, as people start to realize like, yo, there's no future in this stuff, right? You've had tons of people speak about it recently, that the future of music is already dead, right? That people will have to find a new way to make money than just on music. And that might be a reality. That might be something that we do have to consider. But I do also feel like the people who are being forced to have to consider that for the first time, right? Who maybe have not like switched over to social media in any way. Like I said, we're not YouTubers, but we do understand the opportunity in this space that it gives to us to connect with people in a different way, in a fresh way, and expand the universe and the conversation, right? But for people who haven't done that, I can see how this time is going to be very scary when the label system is completely gone, right? They're holding on to the last scraps they have. They're trying to reinvent themselves. They're calling themselves, more. You know what? You know who's talking about it a lot right now? Check out the homie Curtis King, Curtis King TV. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the industry that know already that the old paradigm is dying. And so there's going to be a new thing. And one of the guys who I feel like has really kind of figured out that new thing, that direct to consumer, but also controlling the whole narrative of the art that you're making. Like, the whole thing is art, right? How you release it, when you make it. Like, if I make something right now because I'm passionate about a message I want to get out, and I'm passionate about it right now because I just saw something. When I'm making that song, the intention of that song is for you to reach it while I'm feeling the thing. And up until only within the last, 40 years, internet, like only since the internet has been here, or any type of digital stuff, have we been able to do things more in real time, more direct. And I think one of the guys who did that really well is Alchemist. If you don't know who Alchemist is, he's a legendary producer out of LA. He raps as well. Look into it. Look into Rap Camp. Check out his vlog. It's amazing. But I caught this. This is one of my favorite interviews. It's a throwback, but it was on Idea Generation. Shout out to Idea Generation. Follow them if you're just looking for music knowledge. In general, follow them. Subscribe. Idea Generation. But they do some amazing in-depth interviews. And but check out what Alchemist had to say. Let me see if I can cue this up really quick.
Really, the pivotal one was Covert Coup. My friend Brock was connected with Currency, brought him over. He came over to do a song, and we did 2 that day. And he wanted to drop them that night. And that blew my mind. Like, what do you mean we just recorded it? And he was like, nah, that's how I do it. I have a fan base, I feed them. And I was like, well, we just did these songs tonight. We want to drop them today. Can we mix them first? He was like, all right, well, if we're not dropping these tonight, I need you to loop up this Rick Ross beat for me so I could do a freestyle. Or it was like some beat. And I was like, deal.
And again, he's talking about working with Currency, and they're in the studio while this is playing out.
I looped up some instrumental. He laid a freestyle, recorded it. He posted it up immediately after we recorded it, and he was like, all right, cool. Back away. And I'm like, damn, like he really had the pressure to drop something tonight. He was like, this is insane. I didn't get it yet. Then we did 2 songs. The next morning, he was like, these songs are too good. Let's keep working. I'm gonna stay in LA. Fast forward, we made a whole album. There was some complications why we couldn't put it out through the label he was talking to at the time. And then Currency called me and was like, yo, I just want to put it out. I'll put it out. I'm just going to put it out for free.
Just put it out for free, right? They just put in their own money, their own time and all that. But what Currency understands is the actual value of getting that art out to people and then being able to work that art while it's out there, right? Like performing with it, letting people buy it, doing remixes, right? Adding merch to any of that art, right? If that's part of your art, because for us, our merch is everything we do with our merch is our own thing, right? We draw it, we make it, our logo, I made that logo, like it's part of that. And sometimes just putting the music out as the boat to float all those things is a very smart move if you have an audience that you already have a personal relationship with, because they usually got you on that. Like, yo, we're going to play your music all the time. We're going to run your streams up. So actually buying the song isn't that necessarily important to some artists. And it hasn't been for us necessarily, for the Invisible Panchos. That's not. We make money on shows. We make money on merch. We make money on what our music does to get us other projects. But in order to do that, we have to make our music good. And so there's a lot of effort that goes into that, but we don't put effort into that with the consideration of an immediate payout for that. I look at it as a seed to grow things. And that is a new way to look at the future of music, and one way amongst many different ways, right? It's whatever works for you. I really do feel like we're in the time of the Wild West. The ability for an artist to create their own universe and the rules to that are right at our fingertips. I'm going to go live on this channel right now whenever I can. And I'm going to do my best to tell the people that would be down to watch this, hey, I'm going live now, tune in now, or hey, there's a recorded version of the show, go check it out. And that's good enough for me. That's I'm down for that. And everybody who follows us will know that that's how we get down and be with those rules. And this is Alchemist understanding that through Currency, putting all that work in, both of them into making a really dope album, and then Currency deciding to just put it out because of the benefits he knows that will come from that and the new canvases that gives him to paint on.
Oh my God, for free? Like, I've never done anything like that before in my life. Like, at this point, I'm already successful making music. It's my career. And he was like, man, listen, I'll pay you. I was like, I'm not going to take money from you. He said, well, look, doing this collab with Diamond, it's a capsule. We can make it a Covert Coup capsule.
He's talking about Diamond Supply Company, right? Currency's doing a deal at this time with Diamond Supply Company, cross promotion, which is usually a signature piece of clothing or adding logos and clothing to a package that also includes music or in exchange for the music. But he has this deal and he's telling them about, here's a way, because Alchemist doesn't want to take money for the project because he thinks that since you're giving it away for free, there's not going to be any money for that. But Currency already knows. Currency knows, like, nah, man, like, this is the boat that's going to float all the other ideas. So a bunch of money's coming in. And this is him breaking that down.
Yeah, I'll give you the bread. And I just took a risk. I was like, fuck it, put the album out free and just sell the clothes? All right, whatever. And it worked. Boy, did it work.
It worked, man.
So the day was going by of the release, and it was just selling like crazy. Towards the end of the day, they were monitoring the sales, and they were like, all right, these shirts are slowing down. We're going to cut them off. So some people show up, and they still don't get it. It's how we maintain our brand. There's a technique to all this shit. Those were the early days of me seeing that. So Covert Coupe changed everything in my mind, as I never thought like that in the past.
Yeah, and I think that for me, that is one of the more attractive ways to look at the future of music, because it puts the control back in your hands. But what it does more so than that, to me, as someone who loves hip hop, who loves the music, it's the closest way, if you're in control of all of it, it's the closest way for your consumer, the people who support you, your fans, it's the closest way for them to get the music like untainted, like from you to them in the purest way, and the quickest way for that to happen is for you to control that. Again, I feel like I want to record a song. I put out that song. I feel the way I feel right as I'm done with that song. Hell yeah. Let me let the world hear that, instead of like, all right, let me sit down. Let me think about how the world's going to want to receive this. And then the moment you do that, you at least muddy up the frequency and the purity of from the source to you to them. Now there's other considerations, right? And what I'm saying is you don't necessarily need to consider anybody, right, when you're putting it out, because the people who do support your music and who it's for, right, who they feel it's for, the people who it resonates with, they claim it themselves. And then it's up to them to do what they want with it. We don't even control that as artists. We don't even get to tell them, hey, this is how you need to listen to it. This is how you need to feel about it, rather, you know? But we can give them ways to listen to it that is more pure and is more real and more authentic and more straight. Again, as close to the source from us to them that we can be. And that's what even doing this show, part of doing this show is that, right? This is me right now really having this conversation. I don't have any notes. These are things that I'm really into. This video right here, watching this video, again, shout out to Idea Generation, shout out to Alchemist. It changed the way I looked at a lot of things, right? And it was super dope to see, by the way, credit to the Alchemist, because part of his talent is his ability to evolve. That's what me being a futurist is all about. Evolving, and his ability to do that. Amazing, man. Shout out to Alchemist, dude. I mean, what can you even say about that? Oh, you didn't know I had another camera. I did. I just kind of forgot it. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, by the way, once again, music playing in the background. Go get you some of that. That Gene Flow. That Grateful Flow. Invisible Panchos presents the Grateful Flow. My man Gene Flow put together a sound stimulation. Man, go get that. Stream it up, guys. Dude, you know what? It's amazing music to work out to. It's amazing music to like just really vibe out to. I like to burn the too, but dude, and that. This is real, right? Like, we're doing this show for real. This is me really reacting in real time to the internet. I need to look this up. So if you guys don't mind, I need to look up, can you smoke the without getting banned on YouTube? Is that like if there's a bunch of smoke around here, would the algorithm go, no, don't let people know that he's doing that? Okay, let me check this out. There's a dude. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the show. Damn. Something YOLO. I'm not a young dude like that. I don't know the name of the show. YOLO something. He does a podcast. And he's like a notorious smoker. Man, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I bet something YOLO. I am cool as YOLO. Something YOLO. But he has a podcast, and I think he ran a dispensary. Look at me talking. I have no idea, but I'm interested in it, and I could have sworn I see him smoke a lot on his show. Is that one of those things where you just smoke and you just chalk it up like, oh, I'm not going to get paid for this, so just screw it, like, because you have sponsors? It's going to be really hard for me not to cuss. That would I would be being fake if I didn't cuss a little bit, not because I want to cuss, but because I generally cuss in real life, unfortunately. I'm trying to get it under control. But I need to look these things up. Like, okay, let me see. Let's just see. Can I just, I wonder if I can you smoke on YouTube? Bam. All right, let's check this out. You're going to check it out with me, guys. Bam. 3 types of content you can monetize as a 420 YouTuber. Oh, this is exactly shout out to who's this? Good Eats 420? My G, hold up. Shout out to you. We're about to find this out right now. This is what Chris Sees the Internet is all about. We just found it right here.
What up, guys?
What up?
I am Bass Drop Keys, your friendly neighborhood Negro.
Look at, I'm gonna pause it. Actually, let me go back, because you got to give these.
What up,
It's only right.
I am Bass Drop Keys.
I understand the rules at least.
Friendly neighborhood.
I at least understand the rules. We're using this gentleman's thing to react to and watch. Follow him. Do all the good stuff. Give him love. Give him things to smoke. I am Bass Drop Keys. Shout out to you, man. Let's see let's see if you can smoke.
The Negro. For those that don't know,
Discount code, let me see. And he's got the chapters. Dude, thank you.
An educator for the past subscriber question. This video will be going in the subscriber Q&A playlist. If you want to see the other videos that we've done.
There you go. He's telling you himself.
Make sure that you click the link that's in the description and watch the whole playlist. I think this is only our second video in the playlist, but go ahead and check it out anyway. Today's question comes from Brokest Buds. They say, just started my channel. Appreciate the info as always. Just wondering, what's one of your 420 videos that are monetized? Well, Brokest Buds, I really appreciate the question.
Oh, I guess you probably. So I'm assuming you can't. Just by the way that person asked that question, I'm assuming you just can't monetize 420 videos in general. You know what? Follow him nonetheless. I'm not going to watch the rest of that. Go Eats 420. I'm already assuming, yeah, you probably just can't. Okay. What? Smoke session. Why I started a channel. Girly Ganja. Let's do this. Girly Ganja.
What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, Girly Ganja. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Finally, I started growing weed. Then I started the channel, and the funny thing
Girly
is,
Ganja,
you guys
shout out to you.
Literally go back.
Oh, there you go, right there. Video. Oh, shoot. But wait a minute. I just thought of something. So me showing that probably, if she had 13,000 views on that video, though. So I'm assuming the play, I'm figuring this out as we do this. I'm assuming the play is, if you are going to smoke, you better have sponsors for your video, right? Yeah, because then you don't necessarily, maybe you won't get banned. Because, hold up. What's Be Real's show? Be Real. Let's just go Be Real. There has to be, right? He obviously is not getting, is he monetizing these videos? Can Be Real monetize? What is it? It's not Smoke Shop, right? It's Smoke Outsmoke something. Be Real Smoke. Be Real Smoke. Let's see that should come up. Oh yeah. The Smoke Box. Legendary. So I probably can't show that either then, right? Like, because he's probably not getting. Is he getting monetized? I'm assuming he's. Let's see here. Wow. Can you smoke? On YouTube. No, you cannot. It says right there. On YouTube, the YouTube strictly prohibited that content. Oops. Well, we're probably not getting this one through, you know? It's all right. It's all right. Not YouTubers, man. This is more for us to connect with you guys. So I definitely don't mind doing that. In that vein, you know what? Probably since we're already not going to get monetized, I want to play some of my homies' music before we get out, because I'm going to be getting out of here pretty soon. If you guys don't know, the Invisible Panchos are going on tour. And it's called the Lost in California Tour. It's featuring a bunch of the homies: Moody, Xenaloa, The Dark Room, Bermuda, Eugene O'Neill, Rick Scales, DJ Root, Parker Edison. Crazy lineup. If you're like genuinely into discovering new dope music, and you're tired of your producer being all up in the video, no. If you're, if you just want your music to be, if you care about your art and your music, then I think we put together an amazing bill of artists who the same care about their art and music and put a lot of thought into it. And the show that we're putting together as a collective of artists is going to be really, really dope. Kicking off so far from what we know, April 27th in San Diego, California. Xenaloa, Eugene O'Neill, The Bermuda, The Dark Room, Rick Scales, The Invisible Panchos, Parker Edison. I think I said them all. But nonetheless, up until then, I'm going to let you get to know them all on this show. So I'm going to play some of the homies' music. And I'm gonna kick it off with Xenaloa. So you can kind of see it's a very eclectic lineup. In fact, I'm gonna give you two artists that sound nothing alike, but are gonna be on this same bill. And then you're gonna wonder, dang man, how are they putting together? How are they making this show make sense? Oh, that's the thing. It is going to make sense, and you're gonna see. And I think if you come to the live show, as soon as we put the tickets on sale, please pick them up if you're in the Southern California area. From what I know, we're going San Diego, we're going LA, we're going probably the Bay Area, and then maybe east of San Diego, something like that. But yeah, let's play. Let's see, what do we want to play here? I'm going to play something. I'm going to play some Xenaloa music, and then I'm going to play Rick Scales so you can hear how eclectic we're really, really getting for this tour. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. This is Xenaloa, and this is called Time Bomb featuring Kiddo. Wait, hold up. Yeah, possibly that. Shout out to Kiddo, by the way. Xenaloa. Actually, I'm gonna play this one. This song came out 11 months ago. It's called Matches.
Never know how long it's gonna last. Si fueron pensamientos los que llegaron lentos, si fueron sentimientos, pues ahí déjalos adentro. Yo soy admirado por la forma que concentro. Del centro de mi templo yo soy el mejor ejemplo. Si son columnas en papel, ya escribí 500. It's dangerous Spanglish on an instrumental. Se fueron las nieves de enero, que pongan a Chalino y que venga el cantinero, porque después de unos tragos yo me pongo bien sincero, pero en vez de
Yeah, man. Xenaloa. I'm only pausing it to break it up, so.
So which is the glitch with the way the mind switches? But it only takes a match to burn bridges.
Ooh, there you go. That's the homie Xenaloa. He's going to be coming out with us, right? And then I also got the homie Rick Scales. And you'll see what this dude is all about. I mean, just imagine this all in one night, and we're gonna make this all make sense. It's all gonna kind of connect. It might all tell a story. This is Rick Scales out of San Diego, California.
You just set it on the record because you bumped that. And when you heard the shot, you probably jumped back. So funk that, keep it moving like a run flat. And yo, the speed go
Let's go.
like a dunce cap. Say me, I tend to keep the reefer where my lungs at. And if it ain't the family, catch a contact. Whack energy contagious, we don't want that. Stand from that. Look, I put it high, stick them like a thumbtack. On the instrument, swinging like the hunchback. On the same stages where a lot of niggas front acting like some hard. They wasn't really from that.
Yeah, man. Rick Scales, Zenaloa. You know what? Let's just run it all, right? Okay, so next up would be, hopefully. The way we're doing it, by the way, is, and this is just some good advice for any independent artist. We just reached out to these guys. We had a concept for the Lost in California tour, myself, Gene, and Parker Edison. And then we're fans of these artists. We reached out to them, said, yo, here's what we're thinking. Here's how we could all benefit from this. Here's the fun we can have. Here's the things we can build off of it. And conceptually, you'll start to see it come together over the next few weeks. And I think you guys are going to be really impressed, honestly. I think you guys are going to be happy if you are a follower of any of our music. Are you just into like discovering new music? Are you think it's dope like I think it's dope that all these artists know each other? And they're all down to combine their energy and talents together to make something dope happen. I think that's really dope. And hopefully you do too. And if you do, then for sure, it's gonna be sick. Come out to it. Theinvisiblepanchos.com. If you follow us there, you'll stay up to date on everything we do. And once again, we're gonna be going live, dude. For all you know, I could go off and then come back on later today. I'm just gonna hang out. Anytime I want to go live, I'm gonna go live. Just check our lives. There'll probably always be something there. You don't need to watch it in real time. I'm not expecting that to happen, because otherwise I would need to give you way more lead time for you to go like, oh, I'm gonna catch that. If I'm on and you catch it, dope. And if you catch it on the replay, dope. But we definitely probably will edit the replay a little bit. Some of the stuff in real time. Like my dog's butt right there. I might, you can see it. Why not? Why not give you a treat? You know, you deserve it. You've had a hard day. Chris sees the internet. Yeah, I could say every week, but it probably will be every week for sure. I just don't know if, what times it's going to be on necessarily. Still figuring that part out. Still figuring out the audio, still figuring out, you know, all the cool stuff. Everything that comes with doing this. And by the way, if you're someone who's like, oh, I could probably help in that area, then do it, fool. Reach out. Help. Or send us ideas, man. Or send us questions. Let us know what's going on. Let us know what you want us to react to. If you got dope music. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up here. Let me say this. I'm not playing, by the way. Please take this serious. If you're an artist and you want your music reacted to, if you have not done at least your part in developing a relationship with myself, the Invisible Panchos, Chris Sees the Internet, the show, which means that you've supported it, you've checked it out, you follow the artists that we play. If you haven't done all those things, then I'm telling you, please don't send in your music for me to react to it. That's not what this show is. This is the stuff that's within our universe. And it's for the people that we're talking to and the people that are into the things that we're into. And that's just the way it is, man. That bothers some people sometimes, you know? They're like, but I want to be in the club too. And you can be, because the club is open for anybody. Oh, that was my Who Let the Dogs Out. I have a Who Let the Dogs Out alert, which means my dog probably has to go out. Your boy's in the future, man. Your boy's in the future. But yeah, man. We are going to be logging off, I think. I'm just checking YouTube real quick to make sure nothing drops so I don't have to like come back and talk about it later. Ooh, I just see the homie Curtis King is on right now. Go over to Curtis King TV right now after this and go check that out. Let me see here. Just double checking, making sure that there's nothing on here that needs to be spoken about before we go. But yeah, it's on, man. Thank you for being here for the soft opening, as I call it. You know, Chris sees the internet. You know, it's going to be going on. And again, if there's anything that you want us to react to or anything like that, feel free. You know, we're going to be doing some long streams. We're also going to be, yeah, and this is some of my ideas, right? So you know why to keep tuning in. I actually want to play some video games with some rappers on this show. We're going to stream some video games with some rappers and producers and some of our friends because I like playing video games. We're also going to watch some events like concerts and pay-per-view events. We're going to be reacting to them live. So hang out with us, man. If we're hanging out on a Saturday, by the way, or a Friday or a Sunday or any of the times the Invisible Panchos and the crew get together, we'll probably just go live and start hanging out more often. So if that's what you're into, if you're down to just like hang out with the homies, do what you got to do, you know what I mean? Say what's up to my dog. You'll learn about Bella in future episodes. But if you're down for that, man, and you're down to follow the Invisible Panchos journey, we're documenting it well. We got a dope vlog dropping in a couple of days, by the way. Oh, amazing. We got a bunch of footage from the Tumex birthday party. So a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And we're also thinking about, you know, obviously it's an equipment thing, but we're definitely going to go live at some of these events more right here. Because we realize that a lot of the times we have a lot of supporters that don't live in California, and we're primarily in California right now. That's where we're making a name for ourselves. That's where we're doing what we're doing, but we are slowly expanding out. And once we expand beyond the borders, you know, there's no end to that. But until then, there's some people that, you know, can't really see us live all the time, and it would be cool to let them see at least what they're missing live, you know? At least let them get a little taste of the cake. You know, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I like it though, man. Shout out to Gene Flo, by the way, man. Big shout out to Gene Flo for getting me started on this in general. He inspires me by doing his show, The Beat Block. Make sure you go over and check out The Beat Block. It's right here on this channel. You can catch past episodes. And we're always tinkering. We're consistently tinkering and making things better. I know he's doing that with his show. I'll keep doing that with this show. There's so many moving pieces. But we're giving it a go. Hopefully you do too. Yeah, also log in, comment, get in the chat, talk about you starting your own channels if you have them. All the things that you might struggle on that, do that. We're here. I think we're in a really interesting place, right? We're already in our careers as musical artists, but this part is brand new to us, and it's such a part of, you know, what you do in this space, you know, and a way to speak to your audience. So I think it's really cool to watch that dynamic. If I was watching an act or music artists that I really liked and watching them start their YouTube journey, I think that would be really cool. And we are kind of more or less starting it. We've only really done music videos, and our music videos, they do okay, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. Gene's doing beat breakdowns and a bunch of crazy stuff coming up on the Beat Block. So go there. Also, you can get our merch over at the Invisible Panchos. Whatever. Just, it's all it's down there. It's in the comment thing. Again, the music you've been hearing, playing in the background, is The Grateful Flow. It's our release. It's out again, down there. Go get it. We'll see you guys next time. I might see you in an hour. I might go eat, feel replenished, and give it another go. You know what I mean? we got to get this down. I know there's probably a bunch of audio stuff going on, and when I finally do cut this, I'll try to cut it as good as possible. But if you were here live, you got to see that. You got to be there for it. We'll see you guys next time, man. Which can be whenever, you know.